So welcome everyone to the VOLTHA TST meeting on the 26th of July 2022. Please note that this meeting is being recorded and would later be published on YouTube. So we don't have any new agenda topics for that were added today. So we will go through the items that were discussed in the last meeting. I see that there were some actions that were expected, so we could go over them, and then later on we could discuss with any other issues or discussions that the group might want to have. So let's start with the first one, which is the regression in the VOLTHA behavior. And what I see in the Gerrit patch is that it's got a -1 because in testing some issues have been found and it's not working as expected. So any comments on this one? I think this was being worked on by Gustavo.
Yeah. Hey there. This is Gustavo from Furukawa. So I talked with Abhilash. He was going to help on that. I sent him some ideas I had for solving it, and anyway, he told me he couldn't take a look yet. However, I think that now I have a little more time. I can handle it. I guess I just found the solution to fix the TO previous commit. So if it's not a problem, I could send to review, and then maybe we could do some more testing, and then Abhilash could help me testing. What do you think about that?
Yeah, definitely you should upload the new patch set with the solution that you have found, and yeah, you could look at that.
Okay, so I guess I'll be sending today the solution, and that's it.
Okay, so the next item is a review that was raised on the VOLTHA Go. I not looked into this one. Let's have a look at it.
That's merged, Amit, because it was.
Yeah. Okay. So then we can take it off, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then I think we have a few Golang lint issues, and this I assume are on the VOLTHA Go controller code base, right? So as we want to talk on those.
Yeah, I think as discussed in the previous call, we had some issues on the Golang. We tried reaching out to the community there, but it was finally concluded as it was a GoWet issue and not a Golang CI lint issue. So for now, we have parked this item because we would see how we can raise it towards GoWet. There was one suggestion last time, and accordingly we would track on that. But this is not on high priority on our list as of now. Amit.
Okay, so do you want to come back to this issue at a later date?
Yes, at a later point of time, we'll come back to this.
Let me make a note of that. Okay, so the next one is again review pending and clarification required on 4753.
Okay. On the review pending, I think we are waiting for comments from Sarkant on this.
Okay.
Sarkant,
Yeah, so I was able to submit my comments just 30 minutes ago.
Okay, fine. Okay.
I don't have any major one, but documentation would be good because it's hard to understand without knowing the internal details of the code.
Okay. You mean a certain documentation for the code? You mean?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, we will try our best to see how we can put forth some documentation. However, I do not know how much of it would solely cover it, but definitely something that should help you, Sarkant.
Yeah, and we have another VOLTHA task for that, right?
Yes.
So is this the task for 752?
Okay. And the next one, yeah, this is resolved. We have got the comments from Andrea. If you see in the comment section, Andrea confirmed that no changes are needed, and that's why it was closed. This was one of the follow-up comment on the main review that we have raised.
Okay. In that case, I think we can take this off. Okay. Anything else on the VOLTHA Flow Controller? Which talking on that, or do we move to the next topic?
Nothing from my side.
Okay, so the next item is on the test pipeline. Manuality restart and provision of flow fails. So this Torsten, Girish and Sarkant to help here in reconciliation and manuality adapter.
Sorry, I haven't been able to spend time on that. I don't have an update.
Yeah, same for me, unfortunately.
Okay, so yeah, we just leave this then. Revisit it next week. So yeah, because we didn't have any new topics, so I think we don't have much in this agenda.
Sorry, Manuel from TT sent a mail about hardware used for scale testing and other testing weeks back. I don't recall when. And I replied to that, and he said he wanted to discuss that, sometime in TST call. I think.
Thanks very much, Girish.
Oh, hi,
Yeah.
you're there. Hi.
Hey, yeah, thanks much for bringing that up. I was just about, since I apologize, I was just able to join a few minutes late, so I missed the agenda review. But yeah, if there's a chance to address this item today, I'll be happy to talk to it. And yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's the right time, Manuel, because we have gone through what was there on the agenda page and we are through those. So yeah, we can take up new topics. No.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it's not urgent. I mean, you can bring that up next week after everybody has gone through that, or you could bring that up now. That's fine.
Yeah, but Manuel, if you want to say something about it, maybe we can start and then we review that depending on what you share.
Yeah, okay. Thanks much. Actually, I sent an email out to the list. It was on July 6th, I think. So everybody also hopefully had a chance looking at the mail. Just reading it out quickly. I was looking for some feedback on, first of all, the current status quo of the community test beds in order to get a bit of an overview of what is actually available in terms of existing community test beds. So those would include the ones taken over from ONF Menlo and now in Hillsborough, currently hosted by Redisys, as well as our VOLTHA Berlin community testbed that DT is hosting, continues to host, and have been hosting since, I think now it's about 3 years or so. And first of all, I wanted to figure out if there are any other test environments by the time that are included. And I think, Girish, you were so kind to respond right away on, the Hillsborough sites, what is available there, and even details on the configuration for that. So thanks very much. I actually looked into both, the functional test beds as well as scaling test beds. And for the latter, for scaling, at DT, we have been thinking about it and consider whether there's a need to increase the capacity as we're working on, going to work on the controller testing, and the new VOLTHA microservice controller would probably need testing in parallel to the existing owners, at least for some time, right? And so we probably don't want to actually even step above the other available test beds, but rather look at whether we need some new ones, at least temporarily. So that was actually that were the 2 key items. What is the current available testing infrastructure situation, and what do we need going forward? Is there a need to ramp up on the scale testing? And yeah, I said, thanks, Girish, for an initial response or prompt response on that status quo. You have also identified that there is, for scale testing, right? There is actually there are existing pods, actually 3. So I'm not sure, Girish, if you would like to, at this time, share a bit more information with people on the call, or if people have already, comments where they would like to chime in, saying like, first of all, there are maybe a few more test beds that are planned to be prepared, or have any thoughts about the need for testing capacity, particularly scale testing capacity going forward. So my major point was actually, do we need to plan anything towards the second half of this year, which we are already within? So do we need to plan setting up any additional infrastructures, or are we good with what we have? That was kind of the baseline question.
Yeah, to answer that, I think we have enough capacity for scale. These scale tests themselves, do not run for very long. And so there is, in my opinion, as I have summarized in the mail as well, there are 3 clusters. Each cluster has 3 nodes. And currently we are running a scale test for DT and AT&T workflow. And I do see that it sits idle for most of the time. It's not running tests. If needed, you could fill that gap with more scale tests as needed. I don't think we need to add any more scale clusters. The current ones should suffice.
Okay, many thanks, Girish. So that means from the 6 servers in Berlin, 3 are used for the functional testbed, I think, and
Yes.
for this, what you call workflow testing, right?
Yeah.
And the other ones are somehow dedicated to the scale, as it seems, right? And so,
yeah,
okay.
So there on the Berlin pod, we used to run the scale test with the new controller. and the rest of the scale servers, scale clusters, we used to run scale tests with Konos SDN controller. So now you could also, as I said, there is a lot of time these servers are sitting idle. So you could split, you could add more tests with new scale, new SDN controller and the old ones, and add more workflows as needed. You could check that. I mean, the Jenkins is available for everyone to see. You can see when it's sitting idle and when it's not. You could configure the pipelines to run as needed with any combination that you want.
I see. Many thanks, Girish, for this clarification. So it doesn't seem that we have any current bottlenecks unless, you know, people want to have much more test cases or parallel test cases being set up.
Yeah.
And I think as it's configured right now, the periodic tests which run on the cluster configured for the workflows, these all pass through in like regularly in less than a night, right? Or less than a day.
Not exactly sure, but the pipeline configuration are in the CI management repo. You could check that to see when it exactly runs, but I have seen that, you know, the scale test with 1024 subscribers are, you know, consistently passing. There were issues with, you know, 10,000 subscribers, and that and the job was actually disabled. It's not running anymore. So the only ones that are running consistently and passing consistently are the 1024 subscribers for DT and TT. The 10 stack or 10,000 subscriber, you know, 1,000 subscriber per stack test is currently disabled. So someone needs to debug that and see what's happening and re-enable that, get it working, and also add more test case with the new SDN controller. That one is disabled as well now on the Berlin pod. It was initially running just to figure out that it's in a good shape to be brought into the community. You know, something is working just to prove that, but it's currently disabled. So just to summarize, the only scale test that is running as of now is 1024 subscribers with TT and TT. I mean, you could see that on the Jenkins. I can pull that link up if you want. Just give me a second. Okay, so I pinged the link here. So if you see that all the gray ones are disabled and the green ones are AT&T DT. I see if, you know, for some reason the TT job has aborted. Yeah, but one of you can take a look and see what's happening. So those are the three ones that are, you know, consistently running. Everything else is disabled. And probably you don't need to enable all of them. I mean, some of those jobs were enabled at some point and probably not relevant right now. Probably you might want to get, you know, the 1024 subscribers and 10,000 subscribers running consistently for the current master code and the last, you know, the LTS release, that's 2.8. Probably you want that to be running for those two releases. And probably you might want to add one scale job for the new SDN controller. That's it.
So, this is just to understand why are some of this disabled? For example, the full scale 64 into 63. This was running right up to some time.
I honestly don't have the history right now. But as far as I know, my recent recollection of my memory is that only 1,024 subscribers and 10,000 subscribers was running. Not sure about other combinations.
So the 10,001 is this one, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Stacks.
it was failing. It was not running very stable, so we had to disable that until someone had to take a look. We couldn't complete that job in the last release.
Okay. Yeah. So given that only these two are running, so we don't.
No, the TT job is running as well. I see that it has aborted for some reason, so someone needs to take a look.
Oh,
The
okay.
bottom one, yeah.
Yeah. So, but given that only these three are running, that's why we have enough capacity, right? But if we enable more jobs, still we would have enough capacity.
I think so. I mean, probably you don't want to enable all of them. I mean, it doesn't make sense. And each of these jobs, as far as I know, if you click that, it probably take few tens of minutes. That's it. Not the 10 stack one. That's currently disabled. But if you see the 1,024 subscriber, it doesn't take much time. You can click one of them and probably you'll see how much time it takes. You scroll down. Okay, just scroll right. And it probably take a few tens of minutes at most, probably 15-20 minutes at most. So you could multiply, you could schedule multiple jobs. You could queue them and still have enough capacity during the day.
Okay, so I think maybe we should think a little bit more on the skill jobs and what other things we might want to do in the current release. And depending on that, maybe Manuel, we should revisit this. So I think the TST will take some time to discuss on this and see if there are requirement of more hardware. But as we were talking about hardware, what I was also thinking was, would it make sense to create a kind of a soak test setup where we create some test scenarios where we keep the system running for say 2-3 days or whatever X number of days, and periodically keep adding subscribers, removing subscribers. Because that kind of job would need more resources, right? Because it's going to be engaged for days together.
Yeah, if you ask me, I think that would make sense. So maybe this this testing configuration, which I think has, as we see, has lots of different Jenkins jobs runs that were originally configured or also used. But we can see what would be the ones going forward that are the most important. And yeah, first of all, it's good news, and thanks for wrapping that up and bringing all this information together, Girish. That we don't have a bottleneck right now, but then I think we can actually configure with input from from the operator priorities and workflows and things that would be now most important. Maybe we can configure some additional things so that the servers can be, or this infrastructure can be used. And I understand this is a run which is on the Hillsborough side, right? And then there, in addition, there's a cluster in Berlin which is not not exhausted right now, where there were some initial tests with the LWC run probably at the
Yes.
time, right?
Yeah.
So that could also be, of course, because these 6 servers are available as hosted by DT, so they can also be 3 of them that from this scale cluster can also be leveraged and enabled and used by the community. So that was one question we had, right? From these 6 servers, are these really busy? And do we need to think about adding even more? But then as a preliminary conclusion, At this time, I would understand there is, there's good leg room, so we don't have to, we don't have an urgency to think about new hardware, at least for the Berlin port and even the Hillsborough one, right, which runs these scale test jobs that we are currently looking at.
Right.
We might have room for a few additions and rearrangements. So yeah, many thanks. That clarifies my let's say my proposal or my point I was looking after. Still, if people read the minutes or listen to this recording and have more thoughts, of course we can always come back. And actually, from DT side, we of course would encourage everybody in the community who would like to see tests happening, right, to also consider setting up test beds, because then this improves jointly the capacity and the availability of those test beds. But it's good to know that currently there is no shortage or bottleneck.
Okay, so yeah, so anything else on this topic? Manuel Girish?
No, I can send the link of I'm just pasting here the link of the CI management job template that tells you when each of these job runs. So just pinging you here. So I just pinged you the link.
Okay.
If you go to the CI management repo, that's the YAML template that has details on when each of these job runs. So you have to play around that.
Also, we would record it here so that I can refer to this in the future as well. Yeah. Anyone else in the group has any comments on this topic?
Yes, I have one question. There was supposed to be somebody hired from ONF who is taking care of CI/CD pipeline, and there were, according to Timona, already interviews done. What is the actual status of this hiring?
Yeah, so from last, what I have heard is that the person should be joining us shortly. I don't recall the exact date, but yeah, that is progressing and that person should be joining us shortly.
Okay.
Yeah, I can confirm the start date is August 8th.
Okay, very good.
Okay, thanks Manuel and Girish for discussion on this topic. So to the group, anybody else has any topics that we need to discuss today?
Yes, Thorsten here.
Yeah, Thorsten, go ahead.
One small reminder to Timon, we need urgently permissions for the CI pipeline to trigger jobs and restart or rebuild them. I still not have these permissions, and I think Amit and Mahir also doesn't have this. So I would like remind you kindly to push it.
Yeah, thank you for the reminder. So Amit, Mahir, is that the case?
For me, I think I saw a message from Zach where I think I need to contact him directly, and he was going to share something with me. I guess that's the case with Mahir as well, but sorry, but I have not been able to find time to get in touch with him. But yeah, I'll
Yeah,
that.
me also. I also didn't try. I haven't tried it yet. So yeah, I need to talk with Zach and also check if the permissions are okay for me. But if it's not for Thorsten, I think it's also not available for us too.
So I'm working from memory right now, but my understanding, my memory is that Zach had completed the infrastructure upgrades, which included some new crowd infrastructure and some group definitions for managing all of this access. And then the last ask was for a list of individuals to be added to the right group, which should be a trivial last step. And perhaps that never got finalized. And I think that the ask probably went to the TST, or at least Amit and Mahir and Andrea, I believe. So if you could check your inboxes and get him that list of names, I think then we should be able to close this or better open permissions. Okay, and then please, send me a directed email, or better yet to Zach as well, if for some reason you're not seeing that in your inbox. Now, I'm going to look right now too and see if I can confirm.
Okay. Anything else anyone would want to bring up?
Oh, just a quick circle back on the Jenkins links. Thanks, Girish. Unfortunately, I think the link in the minutes, and I'm not sure the one in the chat, since I'm on the mobile, unfortunately, right now, don't seem to work yet. Maybe the one in the chat works, but could you kindly send it out on the email list, maybe, and then I would try it out from there.
Okay. So I think, so what is there in the chat should work now. So I'll just click on it. The other one I had opened earlier. So.
Okay, all right. Oh, I see. Then I just
yeah, so
didn't have it here. Okay.
There are a couple of links that I sent. One is for the scale and another is for the CI management repo. And once you clone that, you navigate to that path for the YAML file where you can configure the job trigger times.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to document that file as well.
Yeah. I misread that.
Okay, yeah. Thanks. Yeah, maybe Amit, if you could just kindly copy all of those links into the minutes before we close the session and the chat disappears. That would be great. Yeah. Thanks again.
Okay. Okay. Any other topics? Looks like not.
Hi, this is Tinoj from Radisys.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, sorry, I just came a little late. So there was one issue we were facing with the GoVet. If you see, yeah, in the Golang lint issue, there is a GoVet issue. So yeah, I have just raised one defect on GoVet GitHub repo. I just want to update this. but nobody's assigned. So yeah, it's like there is a ticket. If someone is assigned, I'll be following up.
Yeah,
Just
sure,
want to
you can, yeah, you can come and update it here if there is any change
Yeah.
in the status.
Sure.
Okay, anything else group wants to discuss today? Not, then we can end a little early. Thanks everyone for joining the TST meeting. Have a nice day.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Amit and all. Bye.
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 Bye.